Josh and Mattson in the morning. What's up, guys? It's your boy Joesh here, and welcome to the Corner Table Podcast. That's right, you heard right. I am bringing a podcast to my channel. It's something that I've been waiting and wanting to do for quite some time now. I was actually supposed to bring this out to you guys last month, but with some scheduling conflicts and things going on, I actually had to wait a month to another month, I should say, because I've actually had this idea for quite some time. But I'm finally here with the Corner Table Podcast. You're probably wondering, like, what is this about? You know, I wanted the Corner Table Podcast to be something fun, just chill, just kind of like bring it back when you were in school with your friends at the lunch table. You know, you just having a good time, chilling with them, just talking, shooting the shit and all. And so I wanted to bring that to you guys. So I had the idea of the corner table comes from back in my high school experience with having all my friends around at lunchtime, just chilling with them, having a great time, talking about whatever, and it would just be a blast. And we sat in a table in the corner, which was like our spot, and I could think of no better guest to start off the very first episode of the podcast than my best friend from high school. Guys, welcome in Mattson. Mattson, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing great, Josh. How are you?
Dude, I am fantastic now that you are here, and we are finally starting this podcast.
Well, I appreciate that, and I am very happy to be here. Excited to talk about what did you say we were talking about? You said we were talking about Halloween, right?
I mean, I did, but yeah, I already gave you the idea that we were actually talking about Halloween today. You know, it's October, it's fall, so we wanted to kind of get into like the Halloween vibes and the fall vibes. You know, it's getting a little bit colder, the sun's going down a little bit earlier, and just kind of have just like a fun theme to start it off with. You know, because you know, like school starts in September, but like we were starting in October, so you know, what's the big diff? So I wanted to you know, have a fun Halloween theme, and with a Halloween theme, I think I need to change my artwork. So let me change that real quick. Well, dude, look at those lights on the artwork. I don't know what
Beautiful.
I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it's gonna look like.
But you're God here, Josh. You're the man of this whole show.
I am. You know, that's the fun thing of being a host of a podcast, even though I've
That's
never
true.
been that before.
Yeah, this is quite the experience.
But yeah,
And I just want to say real quick to give context to the people that are listening. So, Josh and we ran into each other mid freshman year. So like this was
beginning freshman year,
2013.
it was like first week, boy.
Yeah, it was I know it was freshman, sure. And so like that was 2013, so 7 years ago.
Damn.
And when basically at lunchtime we would watch like Vine videos and Jimmy Fallon. And basically like as time went on and as the nerdy, less popular people self-actualized, the corner table came to be as I had a few friends that I knew from middle school who like worked their way around the social web of high school, and basically those people that they connected with sat at this corner table, and like Josh and I just kind of moved over there and gravitated towards it. Uh, but what was really strategic about this corner table is that it was closest to the exit door, so when lunch would end, we could get a head start and avoid the
Avoid the rush.
crowd.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were very studious and had to get back to class like immediately.
Hmm.
We were that kind of kids. We were that kind of students.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
not really, not really.
More just like the teachers were crazy and cared you were late.
Yeah.
But
Even though
but
we
like
had, 5
people,
minutes.
yeah, but like people in our grade, they knew us. Some of us were like in between popular and not popular. But everyone who sat at this table, we all rode the wave of neutrality, as I like to say it, and as much as possible, just had a good time. And
Yeah,
this
definitely.
corner table was our table.
Yeah, that was ours.
And,
Like no one else took it. Like it was like assigned
I mean,
seats pretty much. Like it was
well,
our assigned
actually, there
table.
were a couple days, Josh, that some people did take it.
Yeah, that's not. But they were also. I think they were older than us too. So I think they had seniority over us. True. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like literally seniority over us because they were seniors.
Hmm.
But yeah, we were kind of like middle of the pack. You know, we weren't like the popular, but like we definitely weren't like the nerdiest ones. And even if we were like the cool nerdy ones. We we were like second or third tier in like popularity in the class. That's how I put us.
Yeah.
So I say we finally get into like the Halloween like theme, you know? We gotta like get into like what our favorite part of like Halloween is. I mean, it was always the I feel like Halloween is like one of those holidays. It's like yeah, like a lot of people love it. I mean, personally for me, it's not my favorite, but it's also like kind of it's just like a fun holiday. But it's
Yeah.
yeah, like it's not like Christmas or like where like everyone loves Christmas. Like who doesn't love Christmas? But like Halloween is like still like a lot of people love this holiday.
Right. And before we get into it, I like to preface everything by saying that I'm not a big holiday guy in general, and this will be interesting in a good way because I know Josh that you like the holidays and do participate in most of the traditional activities. And like while I'm fairly on the opposite side, I have made a promise to myself to always have candy for people on Halloween and gifts. Uh, but like uh, as far as like all holidays goes, I'm not a really big guy.
Mm.
Not a festive.
Yeah,
But anyway, I'm sorry.
let's get into it.
Let's
Well,
get into this.
I was gonna say like when I was a kid, I think I've grown to like Halloween like more as I've gotten older. Like when I was a kid, like it really wasn't like my favorite holiday. I wasn't like a fan of dressing up. I don't know if it was like a creativity thing. Like I'm like creative, but I feel like well like there's like so many possibilities that it was like an overload of creativity that like made me like not function anymore. Um, so like when I was like a kid, like I have glasses obviously, but I don't know if anyone else knows it. You know that, but like I've
Mhm.
had them since I was like a baby. So like first couple years that like I was a kid, my parents told everyone that I was Harry Potter because I had like round glasses. Um, so that was like my costume for like a couple years when I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah. So like, did you have any like favorite costumes like yourself? That like, if you like went out, like what would you say like is it?
So
Yeah.
so as far as Halloween goes, costumes, I'm a huge fan of horror and straight up spooky vibes.
Yeah.
So like costumes like Freddy Krueger, Scream, Michael Myers are the ones that I
Hmm.
like. You know, the psychopathic type auras.
Yeah.
Though to be real, my reason for this kind of plays to the fact that Halloween kind of had creepy roots, you know. And I mean, like people used to dress up as spirits or dead people as a way of protecting themselves from that spirit that they
Hmm.
dressed up as. So I guess naturally I just kind of fall into that traditional uh, philosophy
Yeah.
where acting as a ghost, demon, etc. You kind of like fit the original vibe though. As far as cosplay goes in general for like all costumes,
Hmm.
I like Master Chief from the Halo series,
Ooh, that's a good one.
and basically like any armored hero like Batman, I had armor at one point,
That'd be cool. I feel
and
like
like
I may
his
have been Batman one year. I don't know.
yeah, I think that costume is so sick, and like the War Machine and Iron Man
Yeah, that's
costumes
cool.
too.
Yeah,
I like
I can see that with you. I can definitely see it like actually I can see both or like the demons and ghouls like that
that.
actually like spooky kind of Halloween costumes or like the traditional like characters. I can definitely see that with you.
Oh, thank you.
Um
What about you though? Did you have a favorite costume? Like,
um yeah, as I like had this topic down, I was really trying to think about like what my favorite was because
it's
like
tough. It's tough.
I mean like it really is because I mean with a lot of years I was really just basic doing like football player or basketball player. Or maybe I had like a vampire one year, race car driver, something like that. But I think my favorite costume of all time was a year or two ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I dressed up as Crazy Steve from Drake and Josh. Uh,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites. I wore that. I mean, I'm in college now, but I was sophomore year in college, and I was going out to a friend's to go hang out, and we were all like in costume and all. And as I was like walking there, so like I had like the blue button down, I had, like the khaki pants, and I had like a makeshift vest. So like I had like a plain red T-shirt, and I like
Hmm.
cut it up and all, and I like made like my own like patch of like the premiere theater, and I like made that and I like sewed on the buttons and all, and I think I carried around a bat too, like I
Yes, you
think a
did. Yes, you
wiffle ball
did.
bat, a wiffle ball bat, I should say, not like an actual bat. But like as I was going there, everyone like recognized it, they loved it, and like I think like 2 or 3 people like took pictures with me. I didn't even know who they were, and they were like, "Yo, I love that
Dude,
costume. Do a quote for me."
it was a solid costume. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, the bat. Imagine if you had like a bat, but like you added like fake blood and nails to it, so you were like crazy, crazy Steve.
Yo, that would have been lit if I did that.
Yeah, but like overall, like the people listening to this, if you could only see this man in this costume, he fit it perfectly, and it
Yeah.
was amazing.
At some point,
Um,
when I do like a face reveal, I'll probably show that picture at some point. But I think I also tried to do that last year, but like I don't think there was like any parties or like anything I could go to, and there was just like, or I think I was at like work all day, and maybe I didn't have class, and like just like no time to dress up. So like I wanted to do it again, but I wasn't able to, and maybe in the future I can. Yeah, I mean, don't look at me, Dor. You're the one with the map. I remember
um,
when I was on my or with my the friend's house. I did a quote like at like random people. I was like, "No drinking while I'm talking." When so like when you were able when you were going out and like trick or treating and all, what did you have like a favorite candy that like you just like love?
yes. Do you remember the Nestle chocolate crunch bars with like the rice in it?
Yes. Yo.
Okay, I was a huge chocolate guy and I still am, so like those bars were my favorites because of the texture. But
Mhm.
like overall, like I just if it was either a crunch bar or like some sort of Hershey's candy that won me over.
Yeah, I got you. I'm someone with like I would say I have a pretty big sweet tooth, so I really liked a lot different like chocolate and like different like candies and all. Um, so like I love like the like Skittles. I love like the Crunch bars, like you were saying. I like Reese's, Kit Kats.
Mm, Reese's
Um,
was good.
yeah,
Kit Kats were fucking good too. Oh,
yeah, Kit Kat. I actually bought a bag of Kit Kats earlier today just because like I didn't have any chocolate in my apartment. I was like, why not buy a Kit Kat?
why not? Perfect.
Yeah.
And you're
I
not, you break it apart, right?
well, these are actually the minis, but yes,
Uh,
I am one of those people that breaks it up individually. I'm not like the people that like actually just like eat it like a full bar. They're psychopaths. Like no, on God, no cap. They're just psychos.
yeah.
Like why would you do that?
So wait, did you like ever go out in costume like before college?
Yeah,
Like
I would go out like every year. Going out like we
when did you
first
when did you start going out?
um I couldn't give you like a when, but it was definitely like when I was like young, and it also helped like having an older sister, so like she would go out too, obviously with like her friends and all. So like
Mm,
um just a couple years older than me, so like we would go to her friend's neighborhood because they had a lot of people. There's not a, I don't have I don't live in a neighborhood, so there's not like a whole lot of people around, and like definitely no one trick or treats. So like we would go somewhere else. So we started off with like my sister's friend, and then when she got too old, I would actually go over to my twin cousin's neighborhood and like be with them because they were always fun to be with back then, like trick or treating and all. And so like they had like a packed neighborhood, so I always went there. What about you?
nice. Um, well, when I was like, when I for my first Halloween, I was a cowboy, so I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeehaw! There,
And the
there's a snake in
second,
my boot.
bro, and the second, me and my parents opened the front door to leave.
Mhm.
These kids that dressed up as Dream or something of the sort scared me so bad that I didn't go out all that night.
Oh,
And for the next few years, I didn't either. So basically, it was when I became socialized that I dressed up as scary spirits and started going out.
nice.
And I think it was like when I was 14 is
Mhm.
when I stopped caring. Um,
Yeah.
and I have to mention there is this article that I think we were talking about.
Mhm.
It was called "Why Has Halloween Become So Popular Among Adults?"
Yeah.
And it was written in 2018. pretty recent.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
recent.
it was written by Linus Owens. And it was basically talking about how adults are becoming more involved in Halloween due to like traditional markers for adult responsibilities such as family, career, home ownership, etc., are being delayed
Mm-hmm.
by choice or necessity. Um, or they're being like delayed or abandoned by choice or necessity. And a factor of this emergence involves identity exploration. So like by dressing up as anything, you become more and more aware of your personality. Halloween allows one to experiment being different personalities. So, I mean, I just want to like so like the last time I went out for Halloween, it's funny. I wore a blue sweatshirt
Mm-hmm.
and blue jeans, and I called myself Blue Man,
You're blue.
taking candy in a pillowcase. So either
I
I
thought you were
knew
gonna say
myself.
taking names and kicking ass, but
I wish, dude. I was pretty scary. Blue Man was pretty scary, man. So I was like, either I knew myself and didn't care to participate anymore, or I didn't know myself, saw the whole thing as not for me. But like based on my emergent struggles throughout college, which is pretty normal, I'm gonna say it's probably the latter, and it wasn't.
yeah. Well, you also
Um,
probably just wanted candy too.
yeah, I mean, candy was basically the only incentive,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Because when you're a kid or just at any point, that candy is just a big incentive. Like I'm 21 and like I would, candy is still like an incentive for me to like do something. But I was definitely I was also like reading the article that you were talking about that you sent it to me, and I think it was it was like interesting because it was like kind of our generation, maybe a little bit older too. That like there was like a
Hmm.
resurgence in like Halloween, maybe because like we were actually able to like go out and like party or just like be able to like hang out together again. Um,
Hmm.
but it's definitely like that like odd because we're in like that odd generation where like we still feel like kids at like heart. So I definitely think like Halloween is just like one of those things where like you still feel like a kid. Um, like when you like participate. So like even when you're like in your 20s or something, like you still want to be able to like be part of it and like keep that part of your life like still going.
For sure.
Um,
And it's like also just trying to figure out like who you are and
yeah, and it's going around. Yeah, and I know we were talking about like the favorite candy, but what about when you were going like trick or treating and like the houses would have like the take one sign on there? What is up with this, guys? Like I actually,
dude.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say just
go for it, go for it.
like whatever happens to that candy is deserved.
Yeah,
Like
they
either
they kind of deserve it.
either someone takes the whole bowl or a handful. Like
Yeah,
you just can't trust people to act in good faith, and it's always better safe than sorry. So just like keep the lights off and
just not do it.
own
Yeah, or
own
else,
the MIA.
yeah, or else they take your Tupperware bowl with them. You're
Exactly,
gonna lose your
exactly.
Tupperware. But like when I was a
Yes.
kid, like I used to like obey the sign, because I'm a good person. You know me, I'm a good person. I would take
Aw.
one. But then I'll get older and maybe I'll like sneak one or two more, and then probably when I was like nearing the end of myself going trick or treating, I'd probably just take a handful. I would never take the entire bowl, but I'd probably just like take a small handful.
Wow, you are a rebel.
I am a rebel. I go to bed past 10 p.m. I'm such a rebel.
I remember one year when my parents would walk around with me when I was young. They decided to leave a bowl of candy out on the table so that they could, both be a part of the trick or treating with me and they could also give the candy. But at the end of the night when we came back, um, the bowl that we had was gone, and the
Mm.
table that we put it on was also gone.
What? They took the table?
Yeah, they took
Damn
the table.
rascals.
And this was like a white rural neighborhood, and it just like it's just crazy because it just goes to show that there's chaos everywhere.
Oh, definitely. Even on Halloween, I think it just brings it out of people. You know how people say
I
like
agree.
full moon, people just like
Mm,
are just crazier. That's what Halloween does, but it's an entire
I
day.
agree. Yep.
And I was just thinking about one of the times I went trick or treating when I was with like my cousins and all, and you know how there's always like one house that's like super boring and like has something other than candy.
Yeah.
There was a house that didn't give out candy, and they gave out plastic rings that were like in the shape of like a spider on like the one side. They gave us spider rings instead of candy. Like, are you kidding me? With like a plastic spider ring that costs a penny to make. This is what you're giving out to people, giving out to little kids.
Wow. You
I'm,
know what? You know what? Maybe there was that one kid who was just so into fashion that it just upped their game the whole night.
yeah, it was just they thought, hey, we'll make this costume legit. I know. How about an orange ring that had a spider, like a fake spider on top? That was also
Damn right.
orange.
Damn right. And you
That
know,
that
like,
definitely makes it. That definitely makes it.
and like, you know, the rest of the night they're just like, yo, did you hear about that house down on the block? They have rings for your fashion stuff if you're interested.
Oh, really? Because okay, so I know which house to go TP and egg.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you're just becoming a target at that point. Hey Josh, what'd
So
you get for Halloween? A spider ring.
that's what's up. Is it edible? No.
No.
Oh well, that's
that
that sucks.
that's great, honey.
Were you into scary movies at all?
You
To add to
know,
the whole vibe?
I talked about it a lot on my channel. So if any of these listeners are like watch my channel, they already know I am not a scary movie guy. I am not into horror movies. I'm not into horror like anything. There's this one guy on my
Gotcha.
channel. Shout out to Pat Power. He always like tries to like make a bet of some kind to like get me to play like a scary game of some kind. I have friends that try to get me to watch scary movies, and I'm like, nah, man, I can't do it. I get nightmares. Are you kidding me?
Damn. Dude, I understand that though completely. When I was when I first was like when I first saw a scary movie, I was like 8 or 9. Okay,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure if you've ever heard. Well, I didn't really see it, more like 15 minutes of it because I was so scared that I kept my face behind a pillow. Uh, but I remember. Have you ever heard of the movie called The Grudge?
um, I feel like I've heard of it. I can't picture
Um,
like what
it's
it is, but I feel like I've heard
it's
of it.
like it's like this white-faced demon thing child that like haunts people. And I remember after I watched it, I was just for some reason I just liked the rush I got from being scared
Hmm.
and trying to overcome that feeling that like I just kept seeing more. But like now I don't really care for them because I don't believe in demons or ghosts. So scare factor is just the scare factor from a scary movie is just the loud noise.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
also.
sometimes
Oh, I'm sorry.
sometimes they just add too much of it, which annoys me.
Well, the other thing with that, like the really interesting thing is that they, for like scary movies, they add in like a infrared sound. I don't know if infrared can be a sound, but like
Hmm.
it's like some kind of like wavelength for like sound that you can't hear it, but it's supposed to like up your anxiety and like up like your like attentiveness and like to like make you scared. So like
What?
yeah, they add like a certain kind of sound to the movie to like to give you like an adrenaline rush of not like an adrenaline rush but like yeah like to make you more nervous. They actually add that to movies.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like if you're like like that like your heart is just kind of like pumping even though there's like nothing going on. It's like an infrared sound of some kind.
That's interesting. That's ingenious too. If that's actually true.
Yeah, like
That is
that's crazy. Yeah, so like yeah, I'm definitely not a scary movie kind of person. I'd rather watch a like a happy movie, you know. But
right.
but there's I mean there can be like fun Halloween movies, you know. But and also like TV shows. Like TV shows always had like a special for Halloween, you know, and
This is
like
true. True.
and those were always like the best where they didn't talk about like their like the main focus or like plot point of like the show itself. It was always like it could always be like a standalone kind of episode, but they was always like the most creative because they didn't have to worry about like anything else. They just like honed in on like Halloween.
Right. And I remember there was a Halloween special that I really liked. It was for it was for iCarly.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember I had plans, I think, to hang out with some people in the neighborhood I was living at, but the iCarly special was coming on, and I had to skip out on them. I had to watch it.
You had to skip out. You had other priorities. You
I
had
it was worth it.
you
It
had
was
your
worth.
priorities in check. But yeah, like the shows like that. I don't know if Drake and Josh had one, but like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody definitely had one. And shows like The Office. I mean, I didn't watch it as a kid, but like that they definitely had like Halloween specials, and they were always like the best. They always had like a fun thing to them.
Hmm.
I remember.
I remember. I think the Drake and Josh one was like, oh, do you remember? It was when they got a telescope, and
Oh,
I
and then
think
the
I think this.
aliens.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was
that was
Halloween, but yeah,
creepy.
they definitely had like the aliens.
That was creepy.
Yeah, that
And
was I
I'm
don't that was never one of my favorite ones though. I don't know why.
yeah.
And oh, and the thing with that episode, did you ever watch Friends, the TV show Friends?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
okay. I was gonna say the one character, like Mindy's cousin, she
Hmm.
was a character on Friends. She was like she wasn't like a main character, but she was like a funny reoccurring character. And like I never realized that until like a couple years ago.
Oh,
Probably like a year or two ago, because that's when I watched Friends. But I always thought that was interesting. Um, yeah, but yeah, that was always an odd episode to watch.
yeah. The Halloween specials were they were both
Y-
odd and exciting.
Yeah, even like SpongeBob had one, and that was when they all made fun of SpongeBob for not being a scary ghost, and then and Patrick like shaved SpongeBob down to like his brain, and then when he took off the cloth, everyone just just ran. Like,
Yeah,
what?
everyone
It'll
was
grow
was
back.
more scared. Everyone was more scared of what he was on the inside than he was on the outside.
Oh damn, that's deep. I didn't know we were gonna get this deep in the first podcast episode. People
It
were more
happens, you can't avoid the deepness.
damn. People were more scared of you on the inside than they are on the outside. Damn,
Sometimes it happens.
it does happen that way.
Psychopaths, serial killers, those type of people.
Yeah, yeah, just those type of people that are always just
Um,
doing that. And like the like, I'm sorry, you can go on. I know you're gonna say something. What are you gonna say?
oh no, actually, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I know.
So,
I started
go
losing
for
my train of thought too. I was like, hey man, can you pick up the slack a little
it.
bit?
Well, actually, I'm curious. Like, why do you think, like, talking about going back to the Halloween and trick or treating and everything, why do
Yeah.
you think Halloween is, uh, like, kids are involved?
Well,
You know?
um, I
Because
mean,
like these Halloween specials, they it seems like they really want to try and like get kids to watch it. I mean, they're not like super spooky or anything, but they're just like lightheartedly
yeah.
scary.
It's always. I mean, I think. I mean, at least for like kids, you always want to do that like lighthearted. You don't want to like scar them for life. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm already scarred, and I don't even watch any scary movies. Uh, um, but I don't know. I think it's something fun for like the kids to do. Just go out and get candy. I mean, kids are like prone to having sweet teeth.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what the proper terminology for that would be. But that's something. That's something for them though. That's just fun for them to do. And then
Yeah.
like their parents just kind of like walk them around and say hey to their neighbor, like, "Hey Bill, hey Bob, happy Halloween."
Yeah, you got candy for my son? No? All right, I'm gonna shoot you.
No, you got candy for my son? Nah.
Oh, did you know, a little quick fun fact that when Halloween was and quote unquote trick or treating was first conceptualized,
Hmm.
instead of candy, it was just straight up food.
It was food. I think I knew that. I think I knew that in to some degree. Like I mean, I'm kind of like a history kind of guy, but I knew that it was something with like kids going around. But I thought they begged. They're like these poor kids, like they're from Ireland, I believe, and it was like when they started like immigrating over here, they kind of like brought the traditions. Maybe they still did it in
Yeah.
Ireland, but it was like the more poor kids would kind of go to like the rich neighborhoods, and they would kind of like beg. But I thought it was for money, like they would like ask for like change, like loose change, pocket change, kind of. So that's what I always
Yeah.
thought that they did.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's really interesting because, I was thinking how it kind of like devolved into, well, not really devolved, but I guess evolved into like a more soft, sappy kind of holiday.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, because kids are very easy to advertise to. They're pretty susceptible to advertisement.
Oh,
They look
absolutely.
at like a toy on the TV or something,
I
and
mean,
they're just like, "I want that. That looks cool. Yeah."
yeah,
Even
yeah,
though they have no idea of like
yeah,
the all the economic and financial decisions, like just overall like greed
yeah. Consumer
that
behavior,
is rooted
baby.
in it.
I'm a
Yeah. So
marketing
like,
minor. I know that stuff.
what if um capitalism was actually the reason for why kids are involved? Because hear me out, the market for costumes kind of blew up, and it was
Oh
just
yeah.
another thing that,
Well,
and
that's
like
why.
because of this, it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of was.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that, especially like those like Halloween stores that are only up for October, and then they shut down for the 11 months of the year, and like no one really knows where it goes. But yeah, they like the entire store for Halloween, and then it just shuts down for 11 months.
Yep. Could you imagine having a job at one of those places? It's like, oh, where are you working? At the Halloween store, and it's like midsummer, and you're just like, how much money do you make?
None.
A dollar a year.
I make all my money in during October, in the fall season when people actually need costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we were talking about the how it came from like Ireland. And did you know? I don't know if this is 100% true, but at least I read this like a while ago. But you know how there's like carving pumpkins, and like how that's like such a big thing, and like how
Mm-hmm.
much fun that is. Did you know that I'm pretty sure in Ireland they used to carve out beets or like radishes, maybe
Yeah.
potatoes. I'm not sure because potatoes are obviously a big crop for them. But I think they used to carve out like beets or radishes. I think radishes when it first started, and then we had pumpkins.
Yeah. And I think there was like some sort of like lantern purpose behind it too.
Yeah, because you were
They would
talking
like they would like carry the they would like carry their carvings around and like put light in.
to keep away the spirits. Probably
Yeah.
that's probably a big thing. Like try to ward off any evil spirits.
So now we know that, if you're going into a haunted mansion, make sure that you have beats on deck.
I would never go into a haunted mansion. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me right now? You think I would go into a haunted mansion? I would. I would.
Well, how much money would it take to get you into a haunted?
I don't know enough for therapy. Enough so I
Like,
can like express these feelings of being scared of being in a haunted mansion. I don't know. Oh man, I think that's more like an adult thing, and I'm not quite there yet. That's for adults
yeah,
to do.
one day.
Definitely one day.
Um,
Sorry.
would you want to live in a crowded neighborhood during this
Um,
Halloween holiday?
it's interesting because yeah, I know, like I said earlier, I'm in an area where it's not like a neighborhood. Like you have neighbors, but it's not like a neighborhood.
Yeah.
I can definitely like see a lot of like pros and cons of like being in a neighborhood. Like you would have like, I mean, there would be more people, maybe more people to be friends with, and then like Halloween would be fun. Like and just going around. But then again, you have like the cons of like maybe you're too close together. Maybe you don't like want to have all those neighbors. Like I wouldn't mind neighbors, but I also kind of want like my personal space and maybe like a yard.
Right.
So like I could go either way, but maybe not a crowded neighborhood. Like I don't think I could do like a cul-de-sac. What
Cul-de-sac.
cul-de-sac? Yeah. Like I don't think I could be like in one of those.
I agree. I think like if I'm living in a crowded neighborhood, one, I think it would just like, I made a promise that I'm gonna, of course, give candy out.
Hmm.
If I have a kid, of course, then I'm really not gonna be able to. But like, if I were to give out candy, I would probably be sitting outside way longer
Yeah.
than would be necessary,
Hmm.
because I'd have to wait for the people at like the end of the neighborhood to reach me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because everyone's got their
and
candy for you.
so yeah, though, I'd probably, honestly, I'd probably just go inside too late. So maybe I think not a crowded neighborhood, because I still want to have I want to at least want to know everyone. I
Yeah.
don't really want to have so many people that are overwhelmed.
Yeah. That's definitely a big factor, like having like so many people over. Like my sister and brother-in-law right now are looking for a house, and like one of their things is, at least my brother-in-law, he keeps saying like, yeah, I don't want to walk out my door every day and have to say hi to Bill next door. Like I don't need to say hi to Bill every day. Uh, so like I can definitely I'm definitely be like the same. They're like not needing to be like right on top of each other, but maybe have neighbors here and there, like somewhat close.
Yeah, what's interesting about the whole neighbor thing? Like, I feel like as a nation, or maybe just like as, yeah, I would say as a nation, because I know like other foreign countries are like pretty unified in terms of like neighbor whatever. But like here in America, it's like I feel like people just don't care to know their neighbors too much.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm
yeah.
curious, like, do you think that's a bad or a good thing?
Um,
Or like,
I think. I mean, it really just depends, like, on who the people are. 'Cause, I mean, it definitely just comes down to like what kind of like a person are you. I see myself as a good person. Like I wouldn't like mind having neighbors. I would be like nice to them, but it'd also be like you definitely want to be in like a good neighborhood. You want to be around people that you find that you could like. Um, but I think I don't know because I think people also are like really key on like privacy and like wanting their space.
right?
Um, but really I think it's just another thing that comes down to personal preference. I don't think it's a terrible thing that like maybe you don't want to have neighbors, but I think it can also kind of like it has its pros and cons.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's both. Of course, yeah, it's both good and bad then to that degree. I just think it's interesting because I was thinking the other day when I walked outside my front door and talked to them at all.
Hmm.
I was like, if this like keeps going, eventually we're just gonna have. I feel like it's just gonna kind of translate uh like into family into like family philosophy where it's like not everyone in the family is so close knit.
Hmm.
Of course, like there are families that are very family central and only with their family, but like I think as time goes on, people will just sort of get used to having privacy and their own being in their own world. I think it's kind of bad because people need to like work together, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
but
mean, I can definitely see that. Like, like we were very close with our one neighbor, and like we would always like go over and say hi, and just like we were very like friendly with them. I mean, we didn't know. I mean, I was friends with like another neighbor, but like everyone else, we didn't know like too well. But I think it kind of comes down to, and now like the one neighbor did move and new people came in and we're kind of or not quite sure about them, even though it's been like 3 years,
mm,
4 years, 3 years I think. Um, but it's like also kind of like scouting people out, but also just kind of being like you're gonna be more friendly around people if you like believe that they are kind of like good people and like friendly, you know? Like
hmm
you're gonna like I don't know. It just all comes down to like trying to be a good person with people.
yeah, and it's like it's kind of difficult because there's just a lot of messed up in the world,
Yeah,
and
but I
the
think
internet kind of helped accentuate that by showing so much badness. Kind of, it's kind of scary to get outside of your your own like
realm.
zone,
Yeah,
yeah, realm, and like make peace with neighbors who it's difficult in the climate.
yeah. Um, yeah. I think yeah. Yeah, I definitely see it like what you're saying, like trying to like the world can just be like an odd place and all. Like, do you remember like a couple years ago? I think it was 2016, where people dressed up like clowns. and
Oh
they just
yeah.
like attacked people. I don't know if they actually like attacked people, but they would go around like scaring people.
Hmm. That
Like
was scary. Like, wait, was there anything about those clowns? I didn't read into this much.
I probably should
I
have
wish I
too.
did. But
I
but
was just going
like
off memory.
I'm curious if like did you know if those clowns like lived in the neighborhood or like what?
I have no idea, but yeah, I
Because
don't
that
know.
was
It's
some
just like so.
crazy
It's
stuff.
yeah. It was just so wild. Like there were so many like stories about like people dressing up like clowns, and just like going around scaring people. Like and like we look back now and like we don't even blink. Like it's like it doesn't even phase us anymore. Like yeah, there was a point in time where people just dressed up like clowns. Like okay, we're not gonna speed past that. Like you didn't just say what you just said. Uh,
Yep.
but like
Yeah,
yeah,
you know they held machetes and laughed in the woods.
yeah, that was just
But
wild.
it's no big deal. They were just having
Yeah,
fun.
they're just having fun. It was a good old days back in 2016. Can we just go back? Like I think
No.
Vine was still a thing. Like
Oh, you know what? I'd go back just for Vine.
I would go back for Vine too. But like I feel like 2016 was just it was like an odd time, but it was like not as odd as the time that we're in now. But like yeah, what like would you give up what's going on now to have clown attacks for a month?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 I think it's a small sacrifice.
It is.
Like
It
clowns
is.
for a month to get rid of everything that's kind of been going on. Kind of like a reset button for the year.
Yeah, and you know what's more American? There was a story about this guy who dressed up as a clown who was hired to scare people in their homes. So it's like during the height of all of these attacks, there was a guy who was like, you know what? I gotta make my money's worth, and he would sell his service to like scare
Oh my god!
people.
Like if that guy came around my house, he would probably end up going to a hospital just because of my fear. I would do something to him physically that's not very nice.
But what if he held a machete? You gonna run at a guy with a machete?
I was like, no, I have a bow and arrow. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's true.
I'm a
You did
long
be.
range kind of guy.
I remember you did a project senior year in high school about.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know my archery, so I think that guy has to watch out if he's gonna come around and try to scare me.
Do you think you know, pertaining to the Halloween theme still, do you think uh pumpkins could be a good target for archery?
Um, I I would like to say no because I like the force that that an arrow is like going at and like the force and like speed that it's
Hmm.
going, it would probably just pierce right through a pumpkin. Just because it can. I mean, maybe if it's dense, maybe it could like definitely slow it down, but like
Yeah.
it might. It's definitely piercing through.
Dude,
Like
imagine it's like you get a really big pumpkin and you're like shooting at it and it just like goes into the pumpkin but doesn't come out the other side and you're just like, well, now I have to cut it open and get my arrow back.
yeah. I
Um,
need to go get my arrow back. But yeah, I think. Oh, yeah. I want to say yeah. I think with like people dressing up like clowns and scaring people in their homes and whatnot. That's just adults kind of getting into like the theme of Halloween. That's getting them into the participation of the holiday.
this is true.
Because I mean, like,
Um, yeah, for those people that didn't really give a crap about it, they they instead got their scare from these clowns.
yeah, and and like other adults, they're just celebrating the holidays with their kids, and just they're the ones going around trick or treating. That's what I mean. They're saying hi to Bill and Bob and Karen, and they're just watching kids and trick or treating. I remember one time, um, I was just going out with um, like the other side of my family, going out with my little cousins, um, because they were going around trick or treating, and like the family all kind of got together at their house, and it was a fun time and all, and so like we're all, like all of us kind of like older adults, and I mean I was probably like 18 or whatever at the time, and like they were going around trick or treating, and there was one family that was handing out apple cider, but it was spiked apple cider. So I think like
Wow.
yeah, that I think that's another way to like get adults like into the holiday and like having fun. You just got to spike a little bit of apple cider. Obviously, I didn't have any because I wasn't of legal age yet,
Yeah,
but
okay,
it's still a
Josh.
good idea.
That's he's just trying to trick you guys.
I'm trying to trick you guys. No, I didn't have some then, but I think that was actually a really good idea. You
Yeah,
know,
that sounds interesting. One thing that I can say about apple cider, uh,
yeah.
well, uh, my college, I think it was 2 years ago in college, sophomore year, we had a fruit fly infestation
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah.
during the fall time,
Mhm.
and I was trying to make a trap with and I had to use apple cider. So
Oh my god.
apple cider coming in for the win.
Oh boy.
Uh,
I feel like I
my
can see where this is
only
going.
issue was my only issue was that I forgot that for a fruit fly trap with apple cider, you have to add soap so that they can't climb out.
Yeah.
So I just added apple cider to a cup,
Mhm.
and next thing you know, there were just more fruit flies uh, than I had thought. And I couldn't figure out for the longest time why there were more fruit flies. I made a trap so that there would be no more fruit flies.
Right.
But my my ignorance uh, screwed me over.
Mhm.
And yeah, so when you say apple cider, that's immediately what I thought.
Okay.
But
I will say if this story isn't over, please tell me you did not drink the apple cider.
no, but I do
Oh.
drink out of the cup still that I put the apple cider in.
Ew, the same cup?
Yeah, I've washed it.
Oh yeah, I've watched it once since then. I've watched it like after the event. Why don't you just use
You
like
know, maybe put a flamethrower to it, put some bleach in there,
a little bit of bleach, and then you can wash it and drink from it there.
throw it in the washing machine.
Why don't you just use like a plastic? Why don't you use a solo cup?
You think I? It's great of you to assume that I have a brain, but moving on to going back to the spike cider, um, I'm gonna have to start doing that.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Because it's definitely like one of those like staples of like the fall time. Um, that like apple cider is just like such a big thing going around.
Hmm.
And that it's just something for the holidays. And then I was also gonna say, that just kind of like the holidays in general. What are your thoughts on like the appropriate time to start listening to Christmas music or decorating? Because it kind of at this point in time, the lines are starting to get a little bit blurred
Yeah.
in the seasons.
And I think this is a really good way to like I think this is like a good way to like end the whole Halloween topic
Mm-hmm.
too. Um, and like to that point, I'm gonna say that I think listening to Christmas music, it would make most sense at like the start of December.
Mm-hmm.
Though like it's tricky because music is music, right? So
Yeah.
like if you want to listen to Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is
Yo.
You" in the summer while walking around the tropical forests of Africa, you could be my guest.
you
But
you
like, but like if but like it's it's like listening to it in the month of Christmas would make most sense.
Yeah. I mean,
What do you think?
I think for at least for me, and I think a lot of people do this too. I feel like a lot of people have like a spurt in like June or July where they listen to Christmas music, maybe just like a little bit, kind of like the Christmas in July kind of thing, but like, you gotta
Mm,
like 6 months after Christmas or before, however you want to look at it, you might have like the feeling of like thinking about it, so you might listen to a little bit. But I feel like once, I would say probably November is probably more an appropriate time, at least to listen to the music. I would say if you want to decorate, that would probably be like December or at least after Thanksgiving for decorating. But I would say probably November you could listen to music.
yeah, I think that's really good. I agree.
Yeah,
Um,
like because I mean to be fair, I am not gonna. I mean, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I started listening to Christmas music like a little bit, just like here and there, maybe like a little Mariah Carey. I know like Tori Kelly
such a
has
rebel,
a
man. This
couple songs,
guy.
but I don't know.
God.
It's Christmas music. How do you not like Christmas music? And I know Tori Kelly is coming out with a new Christmas album, which I've been waiting for 2 years. I'm glad we squared that away with figuring out when to listen to Christmas music.
Mhm.
But I will make sure to send you Christmas songs starting November 1st.
I will be sure to listen to them all.
All right, okay. Um, yeah. So I think this is a good place to kind of wrap up the first episode. I think we had a great first episode to lead off with this podcast.
Yeah, it's good. Good fall theme.
It was very festive of us. We
Hmm.
we gotta start off with a bang. Started off with a fun theme. Everyone loves a good theme.
Everyone does.
Yeah, everyone loves a theme. So I want to say thank you guys so much for listening. I was gonna say watching, but thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. I had so much fun with this. I'm pretty sure Matson had a lot of fun with this. Hopefully you did.
I did have a lot of fun.
I'm glad you had a lot of fun with this.
It was really nice to pick your brain.
Thanks, man. I like when my brain is being picked. Um,
Feels good.
it feels real good. Brain getting picked. I had an itch up there for the longest time. I'm glad you finally got it.
I got you. I got you.
But thank you guys so much for watching or listening to the podcast. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Write down in the comments below your thoughts on the episode. Say if you think Matson should come back. I mean, obviously Matson's coming back. I mean, he always has an open invitation to coming back to the podcast.
Oh, I'm honored.
And let him know that he should do a video game series with me at some point in time, because obviously me convincing him just with me, that's obviously not doing the trick.
Guys, I could convince him to play scary games.
No, don't. Don't. Then you're not coming back on the channel. You are never making a reappearance.
I'll play. Josh can just watch.
No, I don't even want to watch either. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will in this series. I didn't say it earlier, but I think this is gonna be like a once a month kind of series, and I'm probably gonna rotate with having a guest and then doing one solo guest and solo. I'm just gonna like rotate with that, so that's gonna be kind of an idea, and once a month. So that's what I'm gonna do. So
this man has it figured out.
yeah, dude, I told you, I've been waiting to do this for like months. I've already planned all this out. But
So I'm so happy for you.
oh, thanks, man. I like when you're happy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But as I always say in my episodes, Matson, do you have any final words before we end off?
Halloween is epic, and Josh is epicer.
Oh, thanks,
I'm
man. You're
I'm
epic too. You're epicer too.
I'm very happy to have been here and talked to Josh. He's a good friend of mine, and yeah, I hope everyone listening has a great rest of the day, or
Or night.
has a good sleep. And yeah, peace.
We'll see you guys next time. Happy Halloween. Peace.
Happy Halloween.